Right, without further ado, it's time to turn our attention back to DD2 and DD2 Masters. And your grid is as follows. Sander Schiblak and Jan Schwitter comprise the front row, ahead of Sebastian de Grand and Madeleine Radny. Dionysius Livris and Lasse Andreasen round out row number 3, ahead of David Remy and Steve Bull. Marcel Steinert and Karl Klebort, who got caught out by our Chief Scrutineer Paul Clarkson this afternoon, nice one mate, is on pole position in the DD2 Masters class, but is 10th on the road. That is ahead of the DD2 Masters pairing of Michael Becker and Timo Haug on row number 6, 526 and 535. Patrick Weinstock and Jamie Billings round out the top 7 rows, ahead of Tamsin Germain, Tanju Yildiz from Germany, William van der Kaj down in 17th, Wout Antonissen in 18th, ahead of Jan Nigusens, who had to recover after a bit of a nasty spin at turn 6. Whether that was related to contact, I'm not sure, and I'm not going to second guess. Christoph Adams rounds out the top 20, ahead of Wout Colson, Christoph Linien, Fritz Fernsen, Alexander Dörlinger, Konrad Bayer, Roland Kinch, and Ronald Billings. So in this particular encounter, it will be 13 minutes plus 1 additional lap to conclude the DD2 and the DD2 Masters action here today at the home of champions, Karting Genk. And now it's time for the drivers to get into the 2x2 rolling start formation lineup. So 27 DD2 and DD2 Masters drivers ready to get into battle here. The time is set at 13 minutes plus 1 additional lap. The red lights are ready on the starting gantry. Will we get the green light first time around? The drivers now head into the tram lines. Could this be a green light? Yes, it is! And they head down into turn 1. Schiblak closely followed by, well, looks like Dionysius Livris has just got past Madeleine Radny, who's dropped down to 5th place as, oh no, madness at the back. Conrad Byers just had to try and avoid and has accidentally had, oh, someone clearly not a happy chappy, did not want that to happen and has just punched the steering wheel into oblivion, I think, on the right-hand side. So there has been a few altercations, not what we wanted to see. But when it gets to the very first lap, you don't know what's going to happen. And if something does happen, it happens pretty quickly. And that's very true. So Schiblak leads from Schwitter, de Grand, Livris and Radny. That is your top 5 at the minute. Lasse Andreasen from Denmark is in 6th position. Remy in 7th, ahead of Steve Bull from the UK, who's just got past Marcel Steinert. Looks like Karl Klebort's regained 10th position overall, and also the class lead in DD2 Masters from Michael Becker. Both Patrick Weinstock and Tamsin Germain have made it up a couple of places each, 12th and 13th respectively. Timo Haug now in 14th, ahead of Jamie Billings. So I'm wondering if that was Wout Antonissen that was punching the steering wheel quite feverishly there as someone goes a bit wide coming into turn 10. Looks to be the 413 of Marcel Steinert, I believe. A little bit switchy. And probably the left rear tyre probably maybe started as Madeleine Radny's just lost out again to Lasse Andreasen, I believe. That is the case. So the young Swede now down into effectively 6th position. William van der Kaj and Jan Nigusens have made some inroads. Van der Kaj up to 16th, Jan Nigusens in 17th, having started 19th. And it's getting very close at the top 4 now. Schiblak not having it all his own way with Jan Schwitter from FM Racing, Sebastian de Grand, and also Dionysius Livris, who are from Dames Racing Team. And you got the 409 of Lasse Andreasen, and also Madeleine Radney not too far behind. Steve Bull still in 8th, but Karl Klerbort, the fastest baker of the land, is definitely on a charge. He's got up to 9th place, ahead of Marcel Steinert. Patrick Weinstock has got past Michael Becker for 11th position. Jan Negussen's now up into 16th place. But all 27 drivers still continuing to circulate. Roland Kinch has got up to 24th in the 557. Ahead of, and it looks like, yeah, Konrad Bayer, 25th. Daniel Yildiz, 26th. And Antonissen, last but by no means least, in 27th position. Now, Schublack had a bit of an extensive lead last time out, but this time around, his gap between himself and Schwitter has been an equilateral distance, around about 0.3 of a second over the last 3 or 4 laps. But then you've got the likes of de Grand, Livris, Andresen, Radney, Remy. Steve Bull is on a bit of a charge as well. Has just taken 0.12 of a second out of David Remy. Madeleine Radney was a bit slower in front of the pair of them. She did a 54.996, whereas Remy did a 54.749. Steve Bull did a 54.627. Zander Schublack is leading and also has the fastest lap to his credit, and was only 0.013 of a second quicker on that last lap than Jan Schwitter, who also posted his best lap of this race. 8 minutes and 23 on the clock to go. Still battling up at the front there, and that is a kart train of 8 karts. But it looks like that Zander Schublack is trying to get away from Jan Schwitter from Switzerland. He's running on the OTK chassis with FM Racing. Dionysius Livris is quite pretty much there. He was a quarter of a second adrift, but doesn't look like that now. He's actually closing. He's about within a kart length of Jan Schwitter. So Schwitter now has to be on the defensive. He can't go after Schublack. He needs to start defending against Dionysius Livris. But then you've also got the likes. So if they start battling, this is going to bring into play Sebastian de Grand, Lasse Andreasen, and also Madeleine Radney, as Steve Bull goes up the inside very cleanly of David Remy for position. Good job by the 430 from the UK. That was a mega overtake, and he took over nearly 3.5 tenths out of David Remy on that last lap alone. And this battle is getting to a fever pitch high as we hit 7 minutes plus an additional lap remaining in this last race of the DD2 and the DD2 Masters classes at the moment. Give you some top 5 updates. Schublack leads DD2 ahead of Schwitter, Livris, de Grand, and Andreasen. Meanwhile, in DD2 Masters, Karl Klerbort leads the class in 9th overall, ahead of Patrick Weinstock from Germany. In 11th overall, Michael Becker and Tamsin Germain round out the top 4 from 10th to 13th place. 11th to 13th respectively. Next up will be Timo Haug from Germany in the number 535 down in 17th place. So those are your top 5 runners in each of the classes. And the move has happened that Dionysius Livris is past Jan Schwitter. It was only a matter of time before the Greek mounted an attack on the Swiss driver and finally found that gap that he was looking for and pounced without hesitation, and it looks like possibly without any retaliation. But this is going to give Jan Schwitter the opportunity to claw back that momentum back into his favour, regain second place. He knows that, well, I can't catch Zander, but if I can get past Dionysius, I'll have a chance of keeping second. But there might be some people that might have something to say about that as Madeline Radny is dropping. She's now back down behind David Remy and Steve Bull, who are now 6th and 7th respectively. So Madeline's race is going a little bit backwards, but she has been pretty competitive in terms of the lap times, but she's not running that great at the moment. I think the drivers that I see at the minute in DD2 that are suffering a little bit with their lap times, Madeline is one of them. She's just done a 55.4 on that last lap, with David Remy and Steve Bull both on a 54.9. So we have Fritz Wernsen, Roland Kinch and Konrad Bayer, unfortunately 3 retirees. So that decimates the field ever so slightly to 24. Oh, little bump from behind, as that was Dionysius Liveris literally ploughing into the back bumper of Jan Schwitter going through turn 3. So Schwitter got the move done back on the Greek, returned the favour, and I don't know whether it just caught Liveris out if he saw, well, Schwitter's there, and he's gone, oh dear, I need to brake. And it's probably been too late for that to happen. Could it have been a racing incident? Well, it's 1 of one and 500 of another, but that's not down for me to decide. It's something that definitely catches not just my attention in the commentary box, but probably the driver that it's affected, because that's dropped Jan Schwitter back down into 3rd place and into the clutches. Well, actually, it was in the clutches. It isn't now, because it's Lasse Andreasen who's just got past. Here's Sebastian de Grand, I think, also getting in on the mix. So, no, Sebastian de Grand did not get past, but watch out behind, gents, because you've got David Remy and Steve Bull behind you. That's going to be incredibly interesting as we get into the last 3.5 minutes, plus 1 additional lap in this DD2 and DD2 Masters 2nd race of the weekend, and the final one of the day today. So running order with 3 minutes and 9 to go on the clock. I'll try and keep you updated on any positional changes as they happen or as and when I see them. So it is Schiblak leading from Dionysius Liveris, Lasse Andreasen, Jan Schwitter. And that's David Remy now up into 5th ahead of Steve Bull. Sebastian de Grand and Madeline Radny now in 7th and 8th. Marcel Steinert has got past Karl Klerbort, who continues to lead the DD2 Masters classification in this race. Jan Negusens is absolutely flying. The Belgian's just done a 54.538, and that is 7/10 quicker than Karl Klerbort. I don't know if that's going to be enough to try and claw into that gap between the pair, which is 2.75 seconds. Michael Becker, 2nd in DD2 classification, ahead in 12th place overall, ahead of Patrick Weinstock. Tamsin Germain, who, along with Jamie Billings, sees 2 Brits round out the top 15 overall. William van der Kaj in 16th, ahead of 5th place DD2 Masters in terms of positioning, not in terms of the overall result, is in 17th, but is in 5th in the classification for DD2 Masters. Wout Coulson, Timo Haug, Christoph Leinen, Ronald Billings, Alexander Dullinger, Wout Antonijssen still running, with Tanu Yildiz still circulating. So 3 drivers retired. That's Wernsen, Kinch and Bayer. So we come down to the last 90 seconds plus 1 additional lap. Schiblak is leading by a cool and comfortable 2.2 seconds. And he's also still got the fastest lap to his credit with a 54.177. As who's that pulling to one side? That's the 4.42 of Jamie Billings there. So Jamie Billings, now, was there an issue, or did he just decide to let somebody pass? I'm not too sure. Well, one of them might have been William van der Kaj. Then you also have Christoph Adams in the treble 5. Timo Haug, in the meantime, has dropped all the way down into 20th overall. Well, actually, I don't know if he's even taking any further part. The 535 might have parked it. I think that might be the case, as the leader comes round. Zander Schiblak from Bouvin Power, representing Belgium in the 412, continues to lead. 2.3 seconds between him and Dionysius Liveris from Greece. Lasse Andreasen from Denmark ahead of Jan Schwitter. David Remy, Steve Bull, which puts 6 different nationalities in the top 6 overall in this race. So it's going to be this plus one more lap to go in the DD2 and the DD2 Masters second final. They'll also have 2 races tomorrow, as the the Micromax, Minimax, and the OK and the OK Junior categories this weekend. So, last lap board being prepared on the start-finish line. And it's just corners personified from Zander Schiblak, who just punches the throttle, gets away from everybody, as Dionysius Liveris is trying to fend off Lasse Andreasen, I believe, for what is effectively second place. But these two are teammates, I understand. But they're going to have to watch out, because clawing onto the back bumper of Jan Schwitter is David Remy in the 455. So Remy having a good show and a good turn of pace. Jan Schwitter went to the outside of Lasse Andreasen, trying to go through into turn 7 to get the cut back. But it hasn't worked out for the Swiss driver, who's now got Remy breathing down his neck, or race overalls. But when it was all said and done, Zander Schiblak continues his good run of form in the BNL karting series as he takes another win ahead of Dionysius Liveris from Greece. Lasse Andreasen takes third ahead of Jan Schwitter, and David Remy rounding out the top 5. Steve Bull made it 6 different nationalities in the top 6 ahead of Madeleine Radnit, who got in front of Sebastian de Grand at the end. Marcel Steinert took 9th ahead of DD2 Masters class winner Karl Klerbot in the 510. Jan Negussens recovered from 19th all the way up to 11th, so hopefully that will give him a bit more motivation to push even harder tomorrow. Michael Becker completes the top 2 in DD2 Masters classification, finishing 12th, ahead of his fellow DD2 Masters competitors, Patrick Weinstock from Germany in 13th, Tamsin Germain from the United Kingdom in 14th, with the Netherlands' very own William van der Kaj in the 404, rounding out the top 15. Christoph Adams completed the DD2 Masters top 5 in 16th, with Wood Coulson, Jamie Billings, Christoph Linjen, Roland Billings, Walt Antonijssen, the man who likes to thwack his steering wheel, with Tanja Yildiz and Alexander Derlinger being the last of the classified finishers, with Timo Haug, Fritz Vansen, Roland